How's it going, everybody? Neil with The Deal here. We got a super special guest today. We actually met probably like a month ago, right? Yep. It was a month ago. This is actually the second time we ever talk, and we were talking behind camera for a little bit, and pretty interesting. This guy's up to great things, and I love bringing people on here that are up to stuff, right? High-level people, and he's a young dude, and you know, this is Mr. Real Estate right here. I love the name, by the way.
Appreciate it, brother.
Yeah, how did that come about?
So actually, by the way, appreciate you having me on.
Yes, sir.
We did have a really good talk. Neil is a straight killer, so anything he has to offer, tap in with him. He'll help you get to that next level. As far as getting the name, so I actually had a friend of mine, and this was back when Instagram, like, you had a username, but you also had like just your regular name. And I had put it as Mr. Real Estate, and he was like, nah, bro, you got to put it as your username. You got to have like something solid. Matter of fact, it wasn't even Mr. Real Estate. I think I just had Reyes Abalos Real Estate. And he was like, you got to put Mr. Real Estate. Shout out to Davey. I don't even know if he remembers that he told me that, but but he was the one who told me how to do it. And I did it. And this was, my account was like 1,000 people. It was pretty much everyone from like high school.
Yeah, just people you grew up with, right?
People we grew up with. And I just stuck with it, bro. And then as time went on and my account grew, I was like, damn, good call.
And college. Yeah, this guy has like 80K followers now. So now you guys know Mr. Real Estate. You can follow him.
Yep.
He posts some good stuff. But yeah, that's interesting, dude. Yeah, mine, because my full name, you might not know, is Heckneil.
Oh, dang. Okay.
Yeah, it's Heckneils. It's actually made up. So it comes from Hector and Otoniel, which are my grandparents. Hector's my mom's dad, and Otoniel is my dad's dad. I actually never talked about it on camera, so it's pretty interesting. But Neil came about because the same as you, I do. You know, when I started, I did a bunch of cold calls. And I was tired of explaining myself to all the people, like, they're like, oh, how do you say that? Where's that from? You know, so I was just like, you know what? I need to come up with something. And one of the agents at the office was like, hey, why don't you just call yourself Neil? Like, you need something shorter. And I was like, Neil. Took a little bit to get used to.
Yep.
Because I've never had a nickname in my life. And that was when I was like 19 years old when I got in. And now, only if you grew up with me, you know that my name is Heckneil. Like, when I come back home, everybody calls me Heckneil, like people that grew up with me, but everybody that I've met in the business aspect knows me by Neil.
Nice.
Yeah.
So for any of you guys who are watching this right now, what Neil just said is super huge, because if you think about a celebrity, if you think about somebody who's famous, right, they have a stage name, right? So if you really want to blow up on social media, it doesn't mean you need to come up with like a fake name, but if you can have something that's catchy, something that goes with you, like in my case, Mr. Real Estate, in his case, Neil with The Deal, you got to have something that's going to make you kind of stand out, and you'll be amazed at how far it'll go for you. So that's dope. I didn't know.
Yeah. Neil with The Deal. And it just came about, and it's worked. Now I got to trademark it, so don't steal it, guys.
Yeah. Trademark it, bro. You got the ASAP.
Yeah, so that's what we brand. You get what I'm saying? That's what I brand, Neil with The Deal. And it kind of just stuck. You know, even when I go to the cigar lounge right here across the street, I'll walk in, they're like, hey, what's up, Neil with The Deal, you know?
Nice, bro.
And it's just a bunch of older dudes, and it's a good time. It's a good conversation starter for sure, too, you know?
It is, bro. And really, I'm glad you kind of brought that up, because I think branding is so huge, right? I don't know how you want to take this conversation or where you want to go with it, but when you mention branding, I just think of how powerful that is nowadays with social media, whether it's Instagram, whether it's TikTok, whatever platform you want to use. People are going to know you based off of your brand, right? And so even people that I don't know, I'll be at the gym, I've been at Target, I've been at Stater Brothers, and people will come up to me and they'll go, hey, you're that real estate guy, or hey, Mr. Real Estate. And it's pretty dope, because that's what I want people to know about me, right? I always think about this one guy. I used to do home inspections with my dad.
Nice.
And I did a home inspection one time. And when I pulled up, this dude had his truck, like, what do you call it? It was wrapped. He had it wrapped, but his face was just blam, like just on it, right? And he had his business, all that on it.
He had his face on the wrap.
He had his face on the wrap.
Got it.
And I was like, damn, that's dope. And when I first saw it, I was like, oh, that's kind of like cheesy a little bit. But then I was like, nah, like this dude believes in himself. That's his brand. People probably see that, and he stays top of mind because of that. So like when it comes to branding, having a good name is important, and really just putting yourself out there so that when people see you, you want to be associated with whatever you're doing. People see me and right away they know real estate or working out. I post a lot of stuff working out too. But yeah, branding is huge, bro, especially nowadays.
Yeah, so what if, how important is the reputation of the brand?
Super important, bro. Super
Because you can be branded for the wrong stuff too, right? Like,
absolutely. That's a great point. So your reputation with your brand is gonna go so far for you. In our case, So I would say we have 3 really big brands, right? It's myself, Mr. Real Estate. I'm part of the Cedeno Realty team. We have a really strong brand online. And then we have the New Builds for You, which is also a really strong brand online. And I think what helps build your brand more than anything else is showing the human side of you. Meaning, nowadays we could put out a bunch of content. I could put out a bunch of content talking about first-time home buyers, what's going on in the market right now. I could educate you about the home buying process, right? Most people don't care about that. What people care about is this person like me? Can I trust them? Do I feel like I connect with them? Once they feel all those things, that's when the educational aspect of it is going to really help them out. But unless they feel like they like you, they know you, and they trust you, or your reputation backs up everything that you're saying, all that educational shit, it ain't going to matter, bro.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. So you know, being huge on Instagram and having all these followers and stuff, do you have like a set schedule as far as like what you're posting, like maybe 2 educational and then, you know, 1 about yourself? Is there like a certain thing, or are you kind of just posting at this point?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I think when I first started, or from when I started to now, the strategy has always adjusted. Me and Neil were talking a little bit because he has his systems down to a T. Like, it's dope how he has it. And even then he was telling me like, it's always changing. We always got to be ready to pivot. So for my social media strategy, it's the same thing. When I first started off, it was like I'm posting 2-3 times a day.
Yeah.
House. Then it was like, all right, well, my page is a bunch of houses, but like nothing of me.
Yeah, where am I at, you know?
Yeah, where am I at? I'm just like a house tour page, right? So then I started posting more of like videos of me in front of houses, videos of me kind of, let's say, talking about certain tips for home buyers, home sellers, things like that. Now it's adjusted a little bit because I do a lot of collaborations. So there's days where I may not post, but the New Builds for You page may post and they collab with me, or someone from my team posts and I collab with them. But as far as strategy wise, like if somebody was just getting started, I would say you want to have 3 to 4 types of content. For us, home tours is like the big one. The second one is going to be like videos of me maybe talking about what's going on in the market, maybe something educational. And then a third type of content for me is going to be something like I like to work out. So that's something for me. If you like to go to festivals, if you like to eat certain types of food, like you need to put that out there so people can kind of connect with you a little bit more. But shout out to Jeff from the New Builds for You page. He taught me something that totally transformed my business. He said, Instagram Reels are going to grow your page. Your Instagram stories is what's going to convert your page. Mm-hmm. So people who are watching your Instagram stories, that's where they're connecting with you at. So Reels is like to get out to the maximum amount of eyeballs out there, right? So people see your page and then they go to your page and they start to learn about you. Once they follow you though, they're watching your stories. So on my stories, I'm posting a lot about what I'm doing in my day to day, the time I wake up, the books that I'm reading, what I'm doing for my workout that day, all the places that I like to go eat at, maybe a little message about something that resonated with me that I think could help somebody out. So the strategy is always changing, but I would say you have to have 2 or 3 anchors that you really build your page off of. And then once you start to build that audience, you really need to showcase who you are as a person, because that's what's going to get them to connect with you and trust you.
Man, dude, you just shared so much value. It's crazy. I'm going to have to rewatch this and take notes next time, you know?
Hey, bro, that's what I'm all about. Off camera, Neil dropped so many gems with me. I learned a lot just talking to him. So I would love to have you on our podcast so we can see how you do your business, because you're straight killing it right now, bro. But yeah, I wanted to deliver. I'm an open book, and anything I could do to help people out, I'm all for it.
You know, I really like that about you, right? I can tell you're an open book just based on the conversation we had off camera. In this industry, a lot of people, you know, I've had people message me like, hey, why are you doing what you're doing, right? Like, hey, why are you showing people this?
Yep.
And it's like, dude, it's first of all, we're not the only ones doing it.
Yeah.
Even though it's a smaller percentage, at the end of the day, we're just here to be at service, right? Mm-hmm. Whatever that looks like. Because I can literally give somebody the A to Z playbook, hand it to them, and they'll still fumble it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it's that's just how it is. So it doesn't matter if I'm being open or an open book or anything. At the end of the day, we're just here to be at service, and you got to come from abundance. Like, I operate from abundance, and even if you're doing 1,000 deals a year, there's still tens of thousands that are being done, and one person can't do all the business.
Yep. You're right 100%. And the key word that I took away from that was abundance. So one of the things that I believe in is that there's more than enough to go around. We're in a business where it's very competitive, but at the same time, it is true we're competing, But when you come from abundance, you understand that there's enough to go around for everybody. And like you said, I could give somebody the playbook. I could tell somebody how to find houses to post, what to tell the listing agents to get permission, how many times you need to post, how to edit the videos through Instagram. I could teach that to everybody, but at the end of the day, that person still has to go out and they have to put in the work, right? And I could quote a lot of people. One of the people that I love watching, his name is Wes Watson.
I know who that is.
Yeah, he might never see this, but shout out to Wes Watson. One of the things that he says that I really, really resonate with is you have to create the person you admire, and then you got to give that person to the world. And I really, really believe in character development. I believe that success is not something that you go and you get. It's something that you attract by the person you become. And so every day I make it my mission to create the character of the person that I admire, and then share that with the world so that more people can kind of pick up off that energy. Because like he says, it's just frequency. There's a low level frequency version of you, and there's a high level frequency version of you. And the high frequency version of me, they go out, they make the most of themselves, they share everything they know. Hopefully someone watching this podcast takes the tips that I shared and they go grow their account to 80,000 people. It doesn't matter if you're in the same market as me, there's plenty to go around. And if you win, we all win. Life's short. Let's just fucking enjoy while we're here.
Dude, and the beautiful part about the real estate industry, there's so much you can do.
Yeah.
Like there's so much you can do. You can get a property under contract, flip it, and then give it to, say, someone on your shelf that's a realtor.
Yeah.
And then the seller gets their money, the investor makes their money, and the realtor makes their money.
Yep.
And then the home inspector makes their money, the lender makes their money, the title makes their money. Like,
yep.
Dude, there's just so much. And there's so many angles in the real estate. So like when people say, it's funny because people will tell me, hey, I want to get into real estate, not knowing that it's such a broad, it's like saying I want to go into business.
Yeah.
You know, like there's so much in the real estate that you can do, and it's a trip.
Yeah, it's so true, bro, because real estate has so many different avenues that you can go into. You can wholesale, you can flip, you can sell real estate, right? You can invest in real estate. I mean, the list goes on. And one of the things that I really love about real estate is that you can always go into a different lane, right? You sold real estate for a couple of years, then you transition to something else. Who knows? Maybe at some point I won't actually sell real estate. I'll go into something else as well. But, one thing that I've learned is that people see real estate as a great opportunity to make money, but they only see the sexy version of it online. They only see, oh, Reyes posts videos on Instagram. I could do that. Oh, Neil just posted that he flipped his house. I could do that. But they don't see all the phone calls that go on behind the scenes. They don't see all the doors that we've knocked down where people close it on us. They don't see all the hours where we're working on our communication skills, where we're working on our personal development. And I think they think that it just comes easy. And you could probably talk about this too. Like there's so much behind the scenes work that makes it look sexy, but it's the not sexy work that you really have to put in to get to that level.
Yeah, it's a trip. We were talking off camera about that. Actually, he showed up. He's like, hey, what does your typical day look like? And I was like, bro, short version, I'm just on the phone all day, you know? And like he said, it's, I mean, there's so much that goes into it. It's most people see the final result, right? They see you doing good, but then they didn't see, like, even myself when I was first in the business, dude, I was driving Uber. Like I was not getting any deals. Like it took me a long time. Like a lot of people see the deals now and they think that it just came natural to me, but it didn't. Like it took a lot to even get to where I'm at, and it's never came fast. Like I've always been the guy that will get, like, for an example, it took me 8 tries to pass my real estate exams, but I never stopped. And it was just never a thought to even like, hey, it's not for me. Like it's just never been a thought, you know? And I just kept going. And yeah, most people see the end result. They don't see the long nights, the calls. We were talking right now behind camera and you say you're on the phone 5 hours a day.
Yep.
You know, most people don't realize that real estate just so happened to be the product, right? Which is a house.
Yep.
But we're in a sales and marketing business.
That's it.
Sales and marketing. We're on the phone talking to potential homeowners or people that want to buy, that we're just on the phone setting up appointments, showing houses and going on appointments all day, making connections.
That's it.
Being at service.
That's it. And props to you, because it took me 5 times to pass the exam.
Yeah.
So
props to you too, bro. That's tough, dude.
It's tough, bro. And how old were you when you started to try to get your license?
So I was when I first got into the business, I was an assistant for 2 years, from 19 to 21. I'm 27 right now, by the way.
Nice.
And he was a top performer, so I learned a lot. And I saw what he was doing. And I was like, hey, bro, let me sell a house. let me take one of the clients. And he's like, you think you can do it? And I was like, yeah, bro, I think I can do it. And I started selling homes. I would show, I would show the homes with him. I'd go to appointments, and then he's like, damn, that's cool. You should get your license. And I was like, okay. And he helped me get my license. And I was, I think 21 when I got it.
Dope.
I was 21, and I was, at the time I was driving Uber. I had sold a few homes, but it wasn't enough to like do it full time. You get what I'm saying? I was always full time. Dude, I remember I would go from Monday through Friday. I'd be at the office from 8:30 to 7. And what most people don't understand is that when you're new, you have to put in more work because your skill level isn't there.
Yep.
But as you get better and more experience, your skill level increases. So then the amount of time you have to put is a lot less. So from Monday through Friday, I was there from 8:30 to 7. I remember my mom would call me like at 7:30. She's like, "What are you doing?" I'm still at the office. Like, I'm trying. This shit has to work.
Yep.
And then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I'd do open houses. So then I would work during the week. I remember I would take half a day off on Mondays, and then I would work during the week, and then I would drive Uber at night on Saturday, Sunday. So right after my open house, I'd go drive Uber in a suit. And I remember I would be getting clients who are like, "Why are you dressed up?" "Oh, because I'm a realtor. Here's my card." And I actually got a couple clients like that, and that helped me transition to real estate full time.
Nice, bro.
Dude, I will never forget that.
Yeah,
such a time.
And you know what? That's the stuff that people don't see.
Exactly.
Right? It's a lot of years. It's a lot of trial and error, and it's a lot of doing things that you don't want to do, but you do it because your vision is so powerful that you know that if I do this and I stick with it, I'm going to do whatever it takes because I know I could see the light at the end of the tunnel. I remember I started to try to get my license fresh out of high school. I was like a junior in high school, and I was already like, whatever, I don't care about none of this stuff. I was getting like straight C's and D's, and
I graduated with the 2.1, bro. Barely graduated.
Barely. Same, dog. And so took me 5 times to finally pass the state exam. And for those of you who are thinking about getting into real estate, just know that when you pass the exam, it's going to be a whole new journey.
That's the easiest part.
That's the easiest part.
The easiest part.
Saying it only took us 13 times to get this. It really is the easiest part though. And I remember, so I started selling real estate in San Francisco, and I remember.
You're from the Bay?
I wasn't from the Bay, so I grew up in South El Monte. Shout out to the 626. I grew up in South El Monte, and then when I turned 18, I moved to San Francisco. I went to San Francisco State. But while I was out there, I started selling real estate.
Got it.
And that was always my goal. I used college as the excuse to get away from home and go sell real estate out there, which is why it probably took me like 8 years to get a 4-year degree because I didn't go to class. I would literally see my cousin. I went to school with my cousin up there, and I would go to school with him. We would have classes like on opposite sides of the hallway. I would dap him up like, all right, cool, bro, I'll see you. He would walk to his classroom, and I would just leave.
And you'd go to school together.
Yeah, we went to school together.
Yeah.
And so I remember it was a real tough time for me at one point though, because I was basically surviving off of financial aid. I didn't have no money. And I was going to get kicked out because I had gone like back-to-back semesters of basically like flunking all my classes.
Academic probation?
Academic probation. And so I had to really swallow my pride, and I was like, well, I got to get a job.
Yeah.
And so my homie hooked me up to get a job at Home Depot. And the first 2 weeks was great. After that, I absolutely hated it. And I was there for about 8 months. And I just remember one time on my lunch break, going to my car, I was in a little coupe deal. It was like a 1996 Honda Accord. The paint was all chipped off of it. I actually had a plastic cover because my window fell in and my door didn't open. So I had to come in through the passenger door. And
you gotta love those times.
I loved it, bro. And I remember I had just got paid, and I'm still a realtor, so I had to pay all my dues. And literally the minute my check came in, all my money went out. I hated the manager. I hated working there. I was flunking out of school. I was like, my self-image was real low. And I just remember sitting in my car and just breaking down into tears. And I only had like 10 minutes because I'm on my break too.
Yeah.
So I had to get it out real quick. And but I just remember in that moment telling myself, like, you know what, like, I'm gonna come out of this. And this is at a time where I didn't have a big social media following. I didn't have no business going on. I was broke. I was getting kicked out of school. Everybody's going to have their different low points. But the point is that everybody's going to go through it. But it's in that moment that you define who you are. If you really believe in what you're doing, you're going to find a way to make it work. And so it's crazy to think that now I have, a huge social media following. that I'm opening and closing deals every month, that I'm part of an amazing team, that I have so many people to help me take my business to the next level. So, you know, there's a lot of highs and lows when you become self-employed and you get into the business for yourself. But if it's something that you truly believe in and something that you're willing to sacrifice everything for, it's totally worth it at the end. So anybody who wants to be a business owner, just know that it's not going to come easy, but it's totally worth it. 100%. I wouldn't trade it for the world.
Yeah. And there's levels to it. Dude, it's I remember my goal when I first got into the business was 10K a month. I was like, fuck, if I can make 6 figures, 10K a month, like I made it.
Yep.
You get what I'm saying? We spend that now on marketing alone a year.
Yep.
You know, and now it's like, you know, last year we did a little over 600K, and even then it's just like, it's not enough.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, it's enough, but it's like, you got to be content with it, which it's a journey. You get what I'm saying? But at the same time, it's like, that's not the end goal, you know, like we're only getting started.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? And I mean, 27 years old, there's a lot to do. My goal is to have 100 doors by the time I'm 40. And my long-term goal is to be a keynote speaker. Like, I want to go in front of stages and speak and do all that. But with 100 doors, I can live very comfortably.
You're going to do it, bro.
Thanks you. Yeah. So I got 13 years, actually 12 years, because I'm going to be 28 pretty soon. But yeah, I love those stories with like the Accord. I drove I remember I closed one deal and I bought the car cash because at the time I had a 2001 Audi that would break down all the time.
Oh, hell yeah.
All the time. It was stick, and like, dude, I drive it 1 freaking mile down the street and it just broken down. It's just, and at the time, those cars are like, even though it's an older car, they're expensive.
Yeah.
At the time, you know, like it would break down, it's $500. It'd break down $1,000. And I was like, dude, the car's worth like $3,000, you know?
Yep.
So I ended up selling it. I closed one transaction and then I bought a 2009 Corolla for, I think I paid like $6,700 and I bought it cash at the time. All my money from that deal that I closed went to the car, and I was like, shit, I got a new car, but now I'm broke again. Like, I got no money. So then I started driving Uber. That's why I got the car. And that's how that whole Uber thing came about. And I drove that for 4 years, dude. I was making $150K a year still driving a 2009 Corolla. And the only reason I got a new car is because it already had 180,000 miles. And my CPA was like, hey, you need a new car. Like, either you're going to pay Uncle Sam or you can get the car. And I was like, all right. So I ended up getting I still have it, by the way. It's a 2020 Accord Sport.
Nice.
Phenomenal car.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Even now, you know, and it's all, I souped it up. I'm into cars. So, you know, if cops are watching, please don't pull me over. But yeah, I'm into cars. That's another conversation. But yeah, it's a trip because I feel like that car keeps me humble. You know, like people ask me like, hey, why don't you have another car? I was like, dude, I love my car.
Mm-hmm.
And I've gone broke. Like, I've made money. I remember 2019, I made 180,000 by the end of the year. I had no money. All my accounts were overdrafted. I had to get rid of my assistant because I couldn't, actually she quit because I couldn't pay her. And I remember I was 22 or 23. I made 180,000 that year. And I had no money, bro. I went to Vegas that year 3 times. I went to EDC, I went to all the raves, I went to Miami, went to New York, all within the same year. And at the end of the year, I didn't save money for taxes. I owed a bunch of money to the IRS. It was a dark time.
Yep.
It was a dark time, very dark time. And I learned 2 things. One, I learned I believe in God, right? I don't know if I'm sure you do too, but I believe in God. One, he took it because I was only thinking about myself.
Mm-hmm.
That's number one. It was only about myself. And number 2, I had a huge ego. I was the young guy making money in the real estate game, right? Your ego gets really, really big. 2 biggest lessons. My business completely shifted when I realized, you know, it was actually last year, I had an epiphany. I call them epiphanies, right? It's like, it just makes sense. Where I learned that it was never about me. It's the people around me. Like, say our conversations, like, what value do I bring just by you coming? And I appreciate you for coming and meeting with me, you know, and doing this. Is like, what value can I bring? Like, okay, like, what value do I bring to other people? And always leaving people better than when you first met them. With whatever, it could be the smallest thing. It could be somebody on the street having a terrible day, and you can just say, hey, you know, you're you look like you have a beautiful soul. Put a smile on their face. Whatever, you know, that was just an example. And when I started doing that and focusing on the people around me, which is like the people in my company, my parents, my wife, my life completely changed. Because it was never about me. And I was always so focused on myself, and now I'm not focused on myself at all. I'm focused on the people around me and taking care of everybody around me, and shit just starts to change, bro.
Yeah, it's so true, bro, because I believe in karma, right? And like Wes Watson, he always says, I'm gonna give him a bunch of credit because I always like to give credit to where I get.
He's good.
From.
He does some good stuff.
He is, bro, and talks about the law of karmic debt, right? So what you put out into this world, you're gonna get back. And
10x too.
10x, bro. And so you're absolutely right, because when you become about other people and you become someone who's like a man of service, like I just want to provide value, I want to help other people, you'd be amazed at how fast that stuff comes back to you. And I think that especially in the real estate industry, what you said is the downfall of a lot of people. Their ego, right? I'm sure we've all worked with an agent out there, if you're in this business, who just thinks that their shit doesn't stink. That's so many out there, right?
Yeah.
And they're just so difficult to work with, right? And then the second part of it is just realizing that, like, it's not about you, right? Like, if you can focus on helping one person every day or putting a smile on someone's face every day. I loved how you said it, Neil, because I had a family member who at his funeral service, they were talking about him, and they were saying that he made everybody feel good no matter where he went. And I always believe that if you can leave every person, every situation, every environment better than how you found it, you're only going to have good things coming back to you. And you don't even do it for that reason. You don't do it because, hey, I'm going to be nice to you so I can get something from you later on. You just do it because that's what you feel is the right thing to do. And naturally, good things are going to come back to your way. And
you don't know where they're going to come from. Like, you could be good to one person and that person could never pay you back or anything, and it doesn't matter because, like you said, karma will bring it from some other direction. So you just got to do it and then just be open to receiving.
That's it, bro. That's it. Whenever I do something for someone, right, they'll always tell me like, oh, let me pay you or let me do this. And I say, no, I'm good. They're like, I got to do something. And I say, you know what you could do? The next time you're in a position to help somebody out, help them out. Pass it on. You don't got to give me nothing. God takes care of me. I'm blessed. I got my health. I got my family. I got my 2 golden retrievers that I love with all my heart. Like, my life is solid.
You got 2 of them?
I got 2 of them.
Nice.
Yeah, one of them is my brother's dog, but
okay. I got a miniature pincher.
Oh, dope.
The mini Doberman, bro. You know, the funny thing about that dog is that I didn't know that those dogs are very high energy, like very high energy, until after I got him. So it was too late. He was chipped already too. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that dog has taught me so much patience, and I think it's preparing me for kids.
Nice.
Because that dog, dude, tears shit up.
What's his name?
Zeus. He's 13 pounds, bro. He got little dog syndrome. You know when they think they're big? Zeus, bro. He'll attack people. It's hilarious.
It's funny. So my dog, his name's King. And kind of the same thing. When I got him, I was like, oh, his paws are so big. His dome is huge. This guy's gonna be a beast. That didn't grow much after that. he's like a medium-sized dog, but I always thought he was gonna be bigger. But I mean, yeah, it's so true. There's a book. It's called The Science of Getting Rich.
I love that book.
By Wallace D. Wattles.
I love that book. Everybody on my team reads that book.
Yeah, it's a phenomenal book.
You can listen to it on YouTube for free, by the way, for you guys out there.
Listen to it on YouTube, and there's one with the subliminal audio of Bob Proctor talking in the background. He's like, just saying some subliminal shit. Anyways, I love that book, though, bro. I study it. Like, I read it every single day.
It's like 120 pages, too.
Yeah.
I got a good one for you. It's called A Happy Pocket Full of Money.
Ooh,
I'll share it with you. You guys can watch it on YouTube as well. Phenomenal book. I've read that book. That's like, I call it my Bible. I've read it at least 6 times.
What's it called?
A Happy Pocket Full of Money.
A Happy Pocket.
And it doesn't even talk about money until the last chapter.
Nice.
What it talks about is like, okay, you know how we manifest, right? It talks about like manifestation, and it talks about how, hey, we're over here manifesting things, but we don't even know how the universe works.
Mm.
So then it starts talking about like existentialism. It starts talking about quantum physics, quantum mechanics, how the universe works. No mathematical equations, but just understanding the concept of how it works, because that's how the universe operates.
Yep.
So then when you know how the universe operates, now you can ask it for stuff and it'll come back because now you understand.
Yep.
Phenomenal book.
Yep. I got to check that one out. Kind of reminds me of another artist, another author named Neville Goddard. Have you ever heard of Neville Goddard?
What's a book?
So he has a couple of them. I have this one book where it's like all 10 of his books put together, and it's called The Power of Imagination. But he calls one of his most popular ones is called Feeling is the Secret. But he kind of talks about like fourth dimensional thinking, which is, I think, kind of similar to maybe what that book may have been talking about. As far as the Wallace D. Wattles book, though, that one thing that always stood out to me was he talks about abundance, right? Another thing he talks about is called the law of increase. It basically says everywhere you go and everyone you meet, you want to give them the impression of increase, right? So for those of you who are looking to grow your social media account, who are looking to grow your brand, you really have to come from a place of wanting to help people. Everything you do has to be to give increase to other people, whether it's an increase in feeling, right? Whether it's an increase of knowledge, whether it's an increase of whatever it may be that you're providing them with. Just come from that state of mind of everything I put out is to help, and it's to provide increase, and it's to help them get to a better place. Your brand is going to grow like crazy, because right now I think what most people are trying to do is they're trying to shortcut it. They're just looking for something that they can post that's going to start working for them right away. But really the best way to give the law of increase is to demonstrate it in your own life, right? I demonstrate the law of increase of my life getting better every day, but I'm demonstrating it through my Instagram stories every day, the time I wake up, how often I work out, the food that I eat, the books that I read, the people I surround myself with, and law of increase go a long way for you.
Yeah, it's a phenomenal book. One of the biggest things I took from that book is it doesn't matter what industry it's in, there's always somebody making money in any industry. Like even this chair, somebody's making a lot of money selling these, or the camera that this is getting recorded on, or these foam panels behind us. It doesn't matter what industry. If you really think about it, there's always somebody making money in any industry.
Yep.
So it's just a matter of picking what industry you want to work in that make money. And then he also talks about how certain industries are more likely, you're increasing your likelihood of making more money in some industries than others. Like for example, real estate's a beautiful industry because there's no cap.
Yep.
Right? There's no cap, and you can make money quick with very low startup costs.
Mm-hmm.
You just got some sweat equity. You got to get on the phones, you know?
Yep.
But let's say, for example, like a printing company, right? Printing that prints like magazines or like a printing company, that's a dying industry because everything's going digital.
Yep.
So you can, I'm sure there's still somebody making a lot of money, but the likelihood of you doing it is just a lot less. Not saying it's impossible, but then you got to pick an industry that's going to support where you're at.
Yep.
Right. So that book is phenomenal. You guys should.
Yeah. I'm like, we could do a whole podcast just talking about this book. Because what you said right now, it reminds me of one of the chapters that I was reading in there, and it says that if someone in your industry and in your area is getting rich while you're not, it's because they're doing things in a certain way that you're not doing it, right? So like Neil is killing it in his business right now. There's a certain way he's going about doing it. There's somebody else who's trying to do what he's doing, but they're not killing it because they're doing it a different way. Someone could come into real estate and say, I'm a realtor, I want to kill it on social media, but there's something that I'm doing it in a certain way that they're not doing it, and that's why I'm having the level of success that I'm having where they're not. It doesn't mean that we're better than anybody or nothing like that, but it just means that if you really want to have a certain level of success, or if you want to reproduce a certain result, you need to get tapped in and you need to get connected with the people who are doing it. That's going to shortcut all the time that you can spend trying to figure it out on your own, and just learn from these people. Don't be afraid to pay people for knowledge, right? Don't be afraid to invest into yourself. $500 here, $1,000 there. I just paid $5,000 for coaching for the year, right? For some people that may seem like a lot, for other people it may not, but I know that $5,000 is going to make me $500,000, right? So whatever you want to learn and whatever you want to do, find people who are doing it, get associated with them, and if it's going to cost you money to learn from them, as long as you trust your gut and you know that it's something that is trustworthy, don't hesitate, because I promise you that $5,000, that $500, that $50 that you hold on to because you're coming from maybe a place of scarcity, right? That's going to keep you where you are, where if you're willing to take that risk, that's where the law of abundance comes into place, because you know I'm investing in this because there's so much more out there for me.
Yeah, dude, 5,000, that's a good amount. Dude, I paid 25,000 last year for a one year of mentorship, and that was scary. Because I was like, shit, that's like a quarter of a flip, you know?
Yeah, it's a lot of money.
You know, that's 2 months of expenses, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, and it completely changed my life. Now, you know, after, shout out to my boy Don, he's out in Texas. Guy's killing it, dude. He's doing like 30 transactions a month. He's been around for a while. He's young too. He just turned 30. Happy birthday, late birthday to him. But yeah, dude, they're doing 30 deals a month, and I saw the value in him because I see the person that he is, and he's not like, he's super chill, dude. He's not very flashy. He's super humble guy, and he doesn't fall into like the noise of it all, right? Like he has a son and stuff, and he's a great dad. And dude, I paid him, and my business completely, I mean, I probably wouldn't even have this office if it wasn't for him. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? We started having events, and you know, I was really trying to wholesale, and I was really good at it by myself. I went to go see his operation. Dude, he had like 40 cold callers. Like, I'm over here thinking I have this huge operation. I go see his and I'm like, dude, I'm barely getting started, you know? So it really opened up my mind in that aspect. And then other people in the mastermind too that are killing it. And it's a trip because like our profitability here is 35% to 40%. Some of the guys in there at 67%.
Damn.
And they're doing land deals. You ever heard of entitlement?
Mm-mm.
Dude, I just learned about this. So entitlement, there's guys in there doing land deals that are selling, they're making 180K rips, 300K rips on land.
Damn.
So what entitling is when you take a piece of land and say it's like 10 acres.
Okay.
What you do is you entitle it, meaning that you go to the city and then you go find, and then you got to invest some money, but you say you can buy it off of seller that's been sitting on it for years. You buy it for $100,000. You open escrow on it, pending on it getting entitled or contingent on it getting entitled. And what the exact entitlement is when you go to the city and you kind of pretty much say, okay, here's 10 acres, you subdivide it into 2, and then in these 2, you can build 10 homes.
Damn, nice.
Right? You can build these 10 homes. These are the lots. These are the dimensions, everything. And then obviously the developer has to go and put the plans on, but now it's entitled so you can see what exactly you can build on there. And now the land is worth 5x more. So now that same plot of land that you probably spent $150K on, you sell it for $1 million 3-6 months later.
Damn. That's
Dude,
crazy.
Nuts. And there's people making a lot of money doing that. And dude, you got to just do one of those plays a year.
Entitlement.
So
check it out. This is for sure true for most realtors that I met, but I think it's true in a lot of industries and a lot of other areas as well. I'm on this camera. This is going to go out to a lot of people. He asked me if I knew what entitlement was. I said no. Most agents, what holds you back is you're afraid to say that you don't know something. You want to pretend like you know everything, right? And I think that holds so many people back because, hey, I don't know everything, but I'm willing to learn, right?
Yeah.
So many people, they're afraid to say that they don't know something for the fear of looking dumb, for the fear of looking stupid. They want to appear like they know everything. Hey, if you don't know something, humble yourself, say you don't know it, listen, learn. That's how you're going to grow. That was just my little tidbit because when you told me that, in my head, I had so many people go off like, oh, yeah, I know what that is. And they'll be like, I don't know. They don't know what it is.
Dude, I didn't know what it was until about a week ago. It's a trip. But the investment world, dude, the investment world in real estate is nuts, because I did a lot of buyers and sellers and I was pretty good at it. But the investment world, like doing the flips, the wholesaling, buy and holds, like really learning how to underwrite. The biggest thing, if you guys can take anything today, the biggest thing you can do either as a realtor, wholesaler, whatever it is learning how to underwrite deals, learning how to run your numbers, getting just a kind of an estimate of what it costs to do the rehab and how to run numbers, how hard money loans work, especially if you want to get into the investment world. If you're a realtor that works with a lot of investors, you have to learn how to underwrite deals. Like one of the reasons that we sell so many deals is because I flip myself, so I know how to underwrite the deals. I know how to look at the deals like an investor. So then when I send out the deals, they know it's a deal because I underwrote it myself. You get what I'm saying? And it's super powerful to be able to do that. And I wish I would have done that way sooner, because I've only been doing it maybe 2.5, 3 years. If I would have learned how to do that since the beginning, dude, I probably wouldn't even be on the podcast right now. I'd be out in freaking Puerto Rico or something, It's a trip. But yeah, learning how to underwrite deals. And then, right before we get off of this, because, we're about to hit the time, but I just want to go over the deal that I just bought here. We were actually talking about it. So this deal came about through a cold call, right? We called probates. The seller ended up inheriting the property from his dad. My wife went to go see that house with me that day and she loved the house. I was actually going to personally flip it, but she really liked the house and she's like, hey, I really like the house. And I was like, all right, well, I'm in the position to buy it, so let's just keep it, right? We didn't have a house. We still live in a 2-bedroom apartment. Dude, sick house, custom built. We bought it off the original owners. View from the living room. It has 360-degree views. It's the highest house on the hill. And we got such a good deal on it. I paid $500,000 for the house. In those areas, homes are selling anywhere from $700 to $750, and the one across the street just got appraised for $800,000 that I just found out.
Damn.
So I bought it for $500. Again, I was underwriting it like an investor. Bought it for $500, acquired the loan. I'm gonna put about anywhere from $90,000 to $100,000 into the house, but it's gonna be worth north of $700. So what I did is I bought it, private money, right? Somebody I know let me borrow the money for the rehab, so I don't use my own money. It's called OPM, other people's money. borrowed the money. In 6 months to 9 months, I'm going to refi out of it. So $500,000 purchase price. My mortgage is $3,800 with the $400 PMI. Right? This is pretty advanced stuff for those of you guys that don't know. So, yeah, I know, right? So you might have to watch it again. But after 6 months, I'm going to force equity into the property. After 6 months, I'm going to refi out of it, get rid of my PMI because I can refi once I have 20% equity. For those of you guys that come in with, say, 5% or 3.5%, once you have 20%, anything under 20%, you have something called the PMI, which is a home mortgage insurance, which there's no benefit to you having that. It's only for the bank.
Right.
So once you have 20%, you can refi. So I'm going to refi, pull all the money out, which is 80% of whatever the evaluation comes in. I'm estimating anywhere from 560 to 580. So I'm still going to be in anywhere from 20 to 30 grand of my own money in the house, but at least I can pull the money out, get rid of my PMI, drop my payment $400. By then, rates should be lower because they announced that rates are going to drop 3 times this year. So rates should be lower. So then at the end of the day, I'm only going to be in 20, 30 grand out of pocket. Hopefully nothing out of pocket if I get that evaluation. Pull the max amount out, get out of the FHA, go conventional, and then pay back the private money. And guess what? Their money's protected through the real estate. You get what I'm saying? So you're using the actual asset and you're leveraging that in order to go find money. And I'm still going to have about 120,000 in equity by the time I'm done, which is, like I said, it's pretty advanced stuff, especially if you're new, but that's the kind of world that you can get into when you start learning how to underwrite deals and getting investments. And I got a great deal and I'm going to live there. So my wife is happy. I'm happy. It's to win all around, you know?
Congrats, brother.
But, yeah, thank you for coming out. Thank you for being here. Where can they find you?
So you guys can follow me on Instagram at Mr. Real Estate. I think it's Mr._real.estate. That's probably where you're going to find most of my stuff. I have a little bit on YouTube. I have a little bit on TikTok, but nothing too crazy. So follow me on Instagram. Shoot me a DM. We can get connected, see what I can do to help you out. And I'm open book. Anything that you guys want to learn, whether it has to do with real estate, whether it has to be how to grow your business as a realtor, how to grow on social media, even if you just want to know what I do to work out, like I'm all for it. I just want to help people. And by the way, I know Neil's going to kind of clip this up. That whole deal that he just broke down, that in itself has so much value in it because he literally walked you from step A to step Z of how he got the deal, how he found the deal, how he worked the deal, what he's going to do now that he's in the deal, and how he's still going to walk away on top and have a beautiful home for him, his wife, and his soon-to-be family whenever you decide to get that started, bro. So I think that was huge. I think we got a ton of value out of this podcast today. I would definitely love to do it again, and we have to have you on our podcast, bro, because I definitely love your energy. I love what you're doing, and I see ourselves in 5-10 years from now out in Puerto Rico or wherever you want to go, doing this again and just providing more value to help more people out there.
Yeah, so yeah, thank you for coming on. Thank you for the kind words. And if you guys want to learn more on like how to underwrite deals, how we find deals through cold calls or SMS, text blast, campaigns, ads, anything, please reach out to me and Neil with the Deal on Instagram. Reach out to me. I'm an open book as well. I'll show you exactly how I do it. And, you know, if you do find a deal, I would love to buy it from you as well. And that's one of the reasons that we do it as well. So there's a little bit of selfish interest, but it's a win-win, right? So you learn how to underwrite them. You learn how to get the deal. We buy it off of you. We get the deal. So thank you guys for coming out, or thank you for being on here. And we'll see you next time.
Peace out.